this presentation, I want to talk to you about another very powerful tool in mental skills training, and it's called visualization. If used in a combination with self-talk, visualization and self-talk working together, the two are no doubt the most powerful tandem in mental skills training. The combination of seeing what you want, visualizing it, and then putting the accompanying self-talk with it. What is it that you want to achieve? And then seeing the outcome at the very same time. Gosh, you want to talk about programming the subconscious mind for success? If you can pull it off and you're in the proper perspective, there is no reason why you can't do anything you want to do athletically with those two things in check. So with that, let me go into just briefly what is visualization, what kind of visualizations are there, and what is it that you're looking for when you visualize. You know, a good thing I tell my clients is when you're entering in the so-called zone is where we all want to be, right? Mindfulness, if you would. There are no words in this place, nothing. There's no language at all. And you have heard some athletes in the past say that things just sort of slowed down, and they really almost were, it was like it's a strange feeling, almost hard to describe when you're in this place. But the one characteristic that many of these athletes describe is that they see it in their mind. They can see the outcome, they can see the execution, and it is coming off perfectly. It is whatever it is, you know, the free shot, or you know, the swing of the club or the bat, or whatever it is, it comes off without a flaw. You see it in your mind beforehand. It is something that is realistic. In other words, it's not some kind of pie in the sky fantasy thing. And then if you're in the zone, you don't really have to use any language because you're tapped right into the subconscious mind there and you're home free. But just in case you aren't tapped into the zone, if you will use the proper kind of motivational or instructional self-talk coupled with visualization, and then it all describes, everything is pointing towards what you're trying to achieve. Again, I mentioned that about self-talk. It is extremely important to say in your mind, the programming language of the subconscious mind must be, what is it that I'm trying to achieve? What do I want? What do you want? Well, I want to go from A to B. Okay, great. Then do that. Can you do that? Do you have the ability to do that? Then if so, you can now shut down all of that talk. You can just let it go if you want to, and then turn it over into the imaginative side of your brain. I call it the artist. And that's why I tell my clients, paint this thing up when we're on the golf course. Paint the picture in your mind of what you're trying to achieve, either with the swing or, you know, with the arc of the ball, the trajectory or whatever. And then you know what happens? And the reason why this is so important is because many times an athlete will be standing there in the golf course, or where, it doesn't really matter where they are. It really doesn't matter what sport they're playing. The critical moment right before execution is the time when they'll talk themselves out of a positive execution. Well, why is that? Fear of failure. That's all it is. Fear of failure, fear of letting your teammates down, fear of not being able to hit the right shot, fear of not being able to fulfill your long-term goal. All of these things, well, you know where that comes from? Come from the language that you're using, the self-talk. And that's why the language stands between, if it's wrong, the wrong kind of language stands between a positive outcome and execution. And it's right in this area here is where failure lives. If you have the wrong kind of self-talk and the wrong kind of visualization, the best scenario for you is if you can get rid of all language altogether, and then you can replace it with an image in your mind of a shot or whatever it is, whatever you're trying to do, riding out into the arena, whatever you want to do, going down the ski slope, of something that is what you want to achieve. You see it beforehand. And if you have the ability to do it, you actually have the talent to do it, you've done it 1,000 times before, then your subconscious mind will just go along with the program. Okay, fine. If that's what you want to go left here, want to go right here, you want to go, this trajectory, you want to hit this kind of shot, low ball, high ball, right, left, whatever. Great. And it's just that. I call it dry execution. If you can do it, there's no reason you can't do it. But what stands in the way of that is all of the chatter, all of the noise, all of the language, this, that, and everything else, you see. And if you can just get rid of that. First thing is to acknowledge it. Yeah, it's there. The noise is there. But you know what? I'm going to focus now on what it is I want to achieve. And you maybe go down a little deeper down the rabbit hole and you say, well, why do I want that? Well, it's to fulfill your destiny right here, fulfill your purpose. Why are you doing this? And then it makes sense for you. Once you clear away all those cobwebs, and then you can replace the cobweb talk with imagery and allow the artist to come out in you, the Michelangelo, if you would, the genius to come out and then see it. That's all the language, programming language your subconscious mind needs. In fact, there is no language there. It's literally just imagery at that point. I'm going to tell you a quick story that I read many years ago about the greatest golfer that's ever lived. Currently, right now in 2019, in January 2019, as I'm recording this, Jack Nicklaus is still the greatest living golfer that's ever lived. Why is that? Because he's won the most majors. Now, Tiger may take him over, and he'll be the greatest, but currently, right now, Nicklaus is the best player. And there's many reasons why Jack Nicklaus was so great. Yes, he had a lot of talent, but a lot of guys have talent. But how could Nicklaus win so many majors? How is that possible? And was it just due to talent? It couldn't have been. It couldn't have been just talent. It was much more than that. What it was a combination of things. He had the perfect perspective. That was the first thing. Golf was not ever number one on his priority list there, where he didn't put a lot of emphasis on winning or losing. It just happened, and because of that, he never was under pressure. Nicklaus, I doubt it was never ever under any kind of pressure, never had any kind of situational anxiety. He was not a nervous person. First off, he was a great athlete. He was very secure in his home life. He had great health, plenty of money. There was all these factors, but you know what else? He was so far ahead of his time. This book here, written many years ago, maybe 40 some odd years ago, and it was 1972, called Jack Nicklaus, The Total Golf Technique. And in it, it goes through it, soup to nuts, on how he plays the game. So I believe this book was a little more in-depth than on Golf My Way, but I want you to read this right. I want you to read with me on this here. He was talking about here what and how to practice. I want to read you a quick thing. Know how to practice as well as what to practice. If you neglected the game all winter, taking a day off from work to blitz 1,000 balls is going to get you nothing but muscle strain and blisters. Now, how many players have heard that you got to hit 500 balls a day? You see, that's always been a myth, and it wasn't true then, and it's not true now. If you have a tendency to fire off balls like a machine gun, place your practice balls a couple of steps away from where you're hitting. That way you'll be forced to pause and think between shots. So what Nicklaus is saying, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. But here's where I wanted to bring you down and make the connection between the greatest player that's ever lived and part of the reason why, and how you can take from him. He documented it himself many times. The practice tee is to place to train yourself to picture the ball in flight and its positive outcome before you actually swing. The ability to use imagination is one of the most valuable assets a golfer can possess. So Nicklaus had made comments before in other books that he actually saw the ball leaving his club head, the club face, the trajectory, the curvature, hitting and rolling out. I mean, he had the complete picture, not just the trajectory, but he had the absolute complete picture. Have you ever noticed, if you ever go watch some videos of Jack Nicklaus, he always had the same pre-shot routine. When he stood behind the putter, you knew what he was doing. He was visualizing the ball going down the line and then ultimately in the hole. In my opinion, in my professional opinion, all of the things, the pieces of the puzzle of Jack Nicklaus made Jack Nicklaus. There were other players as talented as Jack Nicklaus during the same time that he was playing. But you know what? They didn't have all of the pieces of the puzzle together. He did. And so that's in my opinion, one of the reasons why, or several other reasons why he was so great. He had a lot of talent, sure. Worked at his game, sure. But never burnt, did he ever burn out? Probably a little bit, but not to the fact that he ever got so sick of the game he didn't want to play anymore. Was he an alcoholic? I don't think so. Was he into drugs, or, was he a womanizer? Not that I'm aware of. He had a solid home life. He was never away from home more than 2 weeks out of the time. His family was number one on his priority list. So all of these factors, you see, then made Jack Nicklaus the man he was. Used mental skills training before anybody was ever even. The book was written in 72. Have you ever heard of a sports psychologist in 1972? No. Maybe the Olympics, maybe. But this was, we're not talking about the Olympic Games here. But my point to you is that you can use the same tools that Jack Nicklaus used then, now, to make you a better player. Now I want to talk about the two kinds of ways to visualize. Generally now, I'm just saying that it's like in a cursory thing. There's two ways to visualize. You can go point of view, like I'm assuming Nicklaus did, because he could see the ball and then going up in the air and landing out. However, you could also do it as a drone shot. You can see yourself like you're looking down as to a movie. You down on yourself or behind yourself or whatever, and you could sort of imagine the move or whatever you're about to do beforehand, as if someone is hovering above you, around you, all that, and then go forward into your execution. It doesn't matter. This is all about what you want to do as far as your imagination. That's the beautiful thing. Just let your mind go, as long as it produces the outcome that you want. What is it that you want to do? And if you have the ability to do it, there's no reason you can't do it. Now, here's one of the caveats about visualization. I don't want you to connect visualization with expectation, okay? Why is that? Because more than likely, it's not going to come off exactly the way you see it. And if you are saying this is what I expect, and it doesn't come off, then you're going to be very disappointed. So your visualization, I'm going to use the word, is hopeful. A hopeful outcome is what you want. However, if you're aiming right at the pin and you hit it 10 feet right, but your goal, your hopeful outcome was in the hole and you're 180 yards out, I think you're going to be okay with a 10-foot putt, right? So this is what I'm saying to you. The end product of visualization is the ultimate outcome, all right? That's going to be the perfection. But, I am not a perfectionist, and I steer my clients away from perfectionism. But at least that gives your brain, your subconscious mind, a direction, a goal. This is what I want. I want this ball to go, right at the pin, or you can maybe even say I want it to go 10 feet right of the pin, or whatever it is, whatever sport you're doing, and then curve back in or something like that. Whatever it is, successful outcome that you want, that's what you program into your mind as far as self-talk and visualization. However, make it what you want. Don't make it, well, I just want to be around the green. No. You put it right on the spot. I want to be 2 feet left of the bunker, and this is what I want. That's going to set me up for my next shot or whatever it is you want. But if you've got a shot in, like for example, if you're making basketball throws, then standing on the free throw line, then everything that you visualize is going into the bucket. The only thing that you want to do is figure out, well, what part of the bucket, what part of the basket do I want? Backboard or swish or front, roll in, whatever it is you want. So that'll be sort of the deeper level of visualization, you see. But same thing with baseball. What did you want? You're standing on the plate. You want to hit it in right center, left center. What kind of trajectory do you want? And then you visualize exactly what you want. Now, if it doesn't come off exactly how you wanted it, but it still goes where you're wanting, or you're still on base, then okay. Didn't come off perfectly, but I'm okay, you see. And so this kind of thing, the self-talk and the visualization together will give you, or can give you, a better opportunity to be successful. And you know what? That is exactly what can separate you from everybody else. These tools that I'm giving you now are the exact kind of thing that can separate you from the pack. You want to know what the difference is between a good athlete and a great athlete? If everything is the same talent level and access to fields and access to grounds to practice and decent coaching, you know what the difference is? The stuff I'm telling to you right now. It is the difference between getting that D1 scholarship or not. It's the difference between going to the PGA Tour and staying on the web.com. You say, well, Dr. Trammel, you know, that seems a little bit harsh. Well, it is harsh because we are living in an uber competitive sporting environment now. You have got to use everything at your disposal. Every tool you can get your hands on, you should be using it. Why? Because there are so many people out there now trying to get to the heights, the highest of heights in their sport, whether it's the PGA Tour, whether it's Major League Baseball, whether it's in NBA. I don't care what sport it is. There are so many people trying to get up into these spots. You've got to use everything at your disposal. And for those people that don't use mental skills training or won't use a sports psychologist, hey, roll the dice. Good luck to you, because I guarantee you there are 10,000 other people out there that is using it. It's not about talent, or it's not all about talent anymore. Yeah, you've got to have those benchmarks of talent. But you know what? Because so many other people are playing, a lot of guys, a lot of women have the talent. It's about your commitment level and what is it that you're willing to do to go from the first level to the second level to the third level. I don't know. What do you want to do? How serious are you about your sport? What percentage of athletics is mental in nature? How much is it? If that's the number, how much are you working on your mental game? That's a simple question. It's up to you. How serious are you about your sport? So there you have it. There's the visualization. It, coupled with the right amount and the right content of self-talk, can take you from where you are up to the next level. So I'm Dr. Richard Trammel with Level 3 Sports Psychology. I'll see you again. I wish you much success in your sporting endeavor.